Hi, I'm your host Azhar Zahid Carrim, and today we are located at the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art located at the Innovation Tower. And today we have with us a very special guest. She's a new media artist, an illustrator, and she works with a variety of different types of media, such as augmented reality as well. We have with us Ritig. How are you doing, Kitty?
I'm good.
Art. It is an expression of skill, technique, and creativity. It's where you bring your imagination onto a canvas. I'm your host, Azhar Carrim. I am a producer, content creator, and an artist. I invite you to this show to meet other artists. This could be the creative, the hungry, the energetic, and the aspiring. And get to know their insights on their art, their creativity, and more about themselves. Want to know what it takes to be an artist? Welcome to the Canvas with Azhar Zahid Carrim. As an artist, how would you describe yourself?
Well, I can describe myself as simply as illustrator. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to being an illustrator, I don't just stick to one medium. And I need to experiment a lot more as well. Mm-hmm. So even though I plan my concept and the themes I want to work in, so the moment I plan that out, the less that a part of the journey is total based on experimentation. So then I would work in traditional media like charcoal or acrylic, watercolor. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I will work with the digital platforms mm-hmm. as well. So past few series I've been working on, I want to combine them. That's where the augmented reality came.
Mm-hmm. What or who influences you as an artist?
My first ever influence was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. She was a watercolor artist and she was the first person to teach me painting. And so I think my world was built around the painting styles that mm-hmm. she taught me. And at that time, I think I got influence from the beautiful artwork you can create. So then later I realized there's like a depth that I want to convey in my artwork, but still I think about the beauty. Yeah. Because that's part of my inheritance, mm-hmm. right? So then later I got the opportunity to work in Saatchi Gallery in London, where I was like exposed to so many other artists, same like me, mm-hmm. and always like whether no matter what difficult you have, maybe like still you're completing your education, or maybe you have like so much like financial burden, still you're like true to yourself as artist. So that kind of changed my life completely. And if we are talking about people who are like already like well-known artists, mm-hmm. Sylvia Plath is like one of my initial inspiration. She's a poet basically, yeah. So her concept like really go with what I think. And as illustrators, Dave McKean is like a British illustrator. I love his work, heavily influenced on my work as well. And the last major influence, I can say that as a Tim Burton. Mm-hmm. So I think most of us know not Tim Burton exactly. If we say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Edward Scissorhands, then people know yeah. him, right? So, but I love his process, how he would first illustrate and think of the story and mm-hmm. how he would work on concepts. So these will be my major influences, but there's a long list of other people as well. So yeah.
I like how you mentioned poetry as one of your influences as well, because usually when artists, they say, oh, what's your influence? They talk about another art piece. But it also shows how poetry can also somehow integrate and go into those influences. So that's wonderful. In terms of workspace and essentials, what do you need when you're producing these artworks?
Yeah, so my sketchbooks are a must for me. Mm-hmm. I have a collection of sketchbooks. So like whenever I go out, I will carry a sketchbook, and I have this travel kit of like inks and like pens, watercolor. Mm-hmm. And because I'm like heavy into digital media as well, yeah. I have my phone or graphic tablet or the stylus, right? Mm-hmm. So as for space, I've been like uprooted several times in my life, so I don't think I'm connected to one place. So I have trained myself wherever I go, I would have my setup and I will start working. So I think from all that, if I select like one piece like essential, it will be my sketchbooks, right? Yeah.
So now, Kitty, in terms of social media, has it helped you in any way in terms of your work and promoting it?
It's basically like the backbone of my journey. Mm-hmm. So far I've been like working on, and up until recently, I've been working and exhibiting on my own. Mm-hmm. So that's how people got to know me. Mm-hmm. So I think the main, then how they got to know me. social media,
exactly.
right? So that's like, I think no, I wouldn't. I will be artist, but people wouldn't know my work if it was not for social media.
Now, you told me one of your favorite pieces was Bedtime Stories for Kids, which was obviously done by you.
Yeah.
But tell us more about that, because even I was very interested in the series. Like, each picture had a different story to it. Please tell us about that.
Okay, so bedtime stories for kids over 30. That mean basically I wanted to tell is that even in Sri Lanka, this is a Sri Lankan context, because in universally we were known as like if you're above 18 or 21 you're adult. But in Sri Lanka up until 30 you're considered as a kid. You are like allowed to be a little bit like loose and not think about your future, but the moment you're 30 you're considered as adult. Where are your kids? Where's your degree? Where's your car? What happened to you? Oh, still no house? Like that, right? So I think even after 30 there's a part of you still a kid. So I was writing these stories for that kid, right? So bedtime stories, that's idea is not actually a bedtime story, it's about the story about comfort, right? So these stories are based on true like incidents, but I have cushioned them up to a version of a bedtime story. I don't think we have enough time to go for each story. I'll explain them in another time maybe.
Maybe explain to us one piece at least.
Okay, yeah. So there are basically 54 illustrations divided into 6 mini stories. So like, so one story started with where these two creatures were together. None of these are like biologically identified creatures. They're like mix of like one part of a butterfly and a bird, like that. So they were together, but because of death, sometimes you lose people, right? But I consider death as another vortex. I don't think it's like an ending. There will be another version of that, but then you can't connect with that loved one. Then what will happen to the people who left, right? So then how they try to find that comfort again, right? If you lose a close family member. So that was one topic I talk about in this series. So on. There are like 6 more.
There's a lot of like hidden meaning.
I like to call them as Easter eggs. You know, like you hide them. Like so, then
once the viewer finds it, they're like, I found it. You know?
I don't think all the people are like should be forced to understand my story. Some people just look at the work and this is beautiful, and then they can go on. But if someone is more interested in that, then they can go into the depth of trying to understand, or maybe they can ask from me.
Exactly, that's the beauty of art. Either you can take it from your own perspective, or actually just ask the artist what's going on here. They might actually tell you. So how do you make it as a full-time artist?
Lot of freelance work, commission work, lectures, workshops. So that kind of gives me freedom to like find autonomy to do what I want to do, right? So I'd be like lucky just I can sell paintings that I created, but I have experience whenever I only depend on that, then there where I create a market and I have to create according to my market. But right now, because I have this income secured from other projects, sometimes I go off-road and create something really weird and like
something for yourself.
Like so then I find a new audience who like that as well, right?
Another niche market.
Yes, so I'm still in that level. I don't know that is a wise thing to do, but I'm still at that area.
So if you don't mind me asking, what did you actually graduate in or study?
I did my first degree on languages, and I recently did my master's in fine arts. So and I have done like short-term courses in like graphics and like drawing and painting as well. And I think I'm planning to continue in that way in future as well, because I love informal and formal education both.
So to keep evolving, keep learning.
Yeah.
What's one of the worst things you heard as an artist?
That's like a long list, but I plan this like what to say, right? So
say a few, 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is like I don't want to offend people.
You don't have to mention their names.
Yeah, but they know who they are, right?
unfortunately.
Okay, so I'll tell like one thing. So in Sri Lankan market, what I experienced with, even when I work with augmented reality, right, the costing and the like everything, and the how to make it into something that I can sell.
Yeah.
So which should not be the question for artists really. If you think about the Indian artist Anish Kapoor, the first question is how I can make this in a way that I can sell, or I want to create this. So where is that platform in Sri Lanka yet for people like me?
Exactly, because you're bringing something new to the market. Augmented reality is like not so common here.
Yeah, so where's the platform for people like that? There are a lot of people like that. I'm not saying only me, right? So where are they? Right, so still, I'm not saying that the traditional way of selling painting is a bad thing. My God, we are so thankful for that as well. I do canvas paintings as well. But what about other experimentations? What about the platform for them, right? So, which is not the same thing when you come to other countries, right? Even in India.
So in terms of future plans, Kitty, what are your future plans?
Okay, so when I was little, I had a dream of like staying as an artist, which was like unthinkable at that time. Like it was like, okay, how to make money, how to survive, how to stay independent, all that, right? But somehow so far I have managed to do all that and still survive, right? So that has been like my motive to go on, like what was the picture when I was little? This is how I live, this is how I wear. So I think I still living up to that dream. So I don't have like exactly go and open this door and do that. But if the door opens, I will go and see what's in there. Like so, yeah. So live as the artist I wanted to be when I was little will be my future plan.
And I'm glad you're actually following your dream and still sticking to it. So we are almost coming to the end of this show. So a few words of encouragement for the audience and for other artists who are also struggling and trying to strive. Just please a few words for that.
Okay, so I would ask anyone who been working or wanting to be working as artist, come as like who you are, like or whatever you want to create. Don't be intimidated by the things people say. And don't limit yourself to this whatever so-called this is art medium. So do whatever you want. What defines you as artist is how your process, not the output only, right? Process matters a lot. And if you believe in and when you create something and then you say, okay, I need to learn a little bit about this area, maybe this is not enough, then you can upgrade yourself. But to even to start that, you have to keep on going for a while. So the continuity is the main thing. Right? Yeah.
So one thing I learned from this interview is that you have to keep growing and keep evolving. Don't just like get out of your comfort zone. Thank you for coming on this show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Good luck for your future projects and endeavors.
You too.